What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the length of Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I got that last video up, I guess, just a little bit late because it had kind of come out, with the preview event and all these interviews being done with all these different employees at Insomniac. I think eventually somebody was going to ask for the length of the game, and somebody was going to say the length of the game. I got to be honest, leading into it, I didn't necessarily know. I thought maybe they would say, like, you can't ask that question or we can't answer that question. And they gave an answer without actual numbers, but they did say that it's around the same length of Marvel's Spider-Man. Okay, so without throwing out the actual average or anything like that, and as we said before, averages are just that. They're average. They're not something that every single person is going to play that length. I know there's some people that probably put in 40, 50, 60 hours in a playthrough of Marvel's Spider-Man, but for the sake of things, let's go over one more time. We did it in the last video, but let's go over the times for all of the main things for Marvel's Spider-Man. So you got the main story, 17 hours. Main story plus the side stuff, 25 and a half. Completionist, which is normally things like the Platinum Trophy, right? That's going for all of it, 34 and a half. So that's around the length. Now, again, around. It's not exact. I know in the video, a few days ago I talked about, I thought the main story would maybe increase a little bit, maybe into that 20, 22, 23 range. The main and side stuff, even the completionist stuff, I thought would probably get closer to like 40, 42, somewhere in that range. I still think that's possible, those last two, that maybe the side content in the game, or if the side missions are kind of meatier, right, they're longer, well, they'll take more time, right? So that's more time added onto the entire thing. One thing to throw out, we started to say this on Saturday, but now it's time to fully go in. This is okay. Okay, this is an okay thing. I've said it before, quality over quantity. I would rather take a game, and here's a specific example for Spider-Man. If they thought that 25, 26, 27 hours was too long for the main story, there's a reason for it. Now, that's not giving them like 1,000% trust. Look, everybody makes mistakes, and I would not even call the first Spider-Man game a perfect game. I don't know if this game is going to be a perfect game, so I'm not saying that we have to trust every single word that they say and the game's going to be perfect. We have nothing to worry about. No, there can be problems. There can be things that we can complain about or whatever we want to do. Okay, we have that right, I guess, to just say whatever we feel in these videos and in these comments. But I would say, following that logic of quality over quantity, you got to do what feels right. And even a smaller, like, we're not talking about 100 hours. We're not talking about 40 hours for the main story. We're talking about under 20 hours. But the same principles do apply. If it's 5-6 hours longer than it should be, that will be a problem. You will feel that. Now, we won't know for sure. In fact, when we play the game, we might say, ooh, I wish they maybe spent a little bit more time on this part. But overall, I'm completely content with the length. As I've said before, I personally, for this game, this specific game, Spider-Man 2, I don't need it to be 100 hours. I'm sure people will spend hundreds of hours in the game, but I don't need it to literally take 100 hours to complete it, to do the completionist run, to get a Platinum Trophy. I intend to go for the Platinum Trophy in this game. There's a lot of other games to play. Yeah, I've said it before, like, my entire life kind of stops for Spider-Man. However, there are games right after it. There's games in November that I want to play, so I don't need to spend all that time in this game. I'm content. I'm content with the length of time. I think, honestly, that's kind of a sweet spot. I think like a 20 or so hour story game, and then, you do everything in it, and you get somewhere to that 30 to 40 range. I think it's just right. Like, for me, when you have games that are like 60, 70, it's like, okay, you're starting to push it. And then when you have games that are like 100-hour plus, those are either, they're some of the most elite games of all time, like The Witcher. Like, The Witcher 3 is a massive, massive game, but it does it so well. Persona is one of the longest story-driven games ever, right? 100-plus hours just to do literally through the story. It's not even necessarily grinding in that game. There's not that many of them that can do it as well as those games. Maybe Spider-Man could, but obviously, we're not going to get that here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next video.